All right, ladies and gents, in this chapter, we will learn about the process of photosynthesis. And in a nutshell, what is photosynthesis? Using light, energy of light, to make another type or to transfer this energy of light into making food, okay? Chemical energy, all right? So we're going to be using some photosynthetic organisms. I want to be using light, okay? Absorbing the light to be able to make food or chemical energy, okay? Molecules. For example, glucose, okay? And this glucose is going to be an organic molecule, which we can use for different, also as a carbon source, but also going to provide us some chemical energy, okay? You will see how these two phrases are going to come together in a little bit. Okay, now photosynthesis. Let's define photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? The process by which plants, algae, and some other organisms, okay, I'm going to use this. I'm going to say these are going to be all photosynthetic. Okay, so the process by which photosynthetic organisms are able to use light, energy from the sun, to make sugars, okay, from carbon dioxide, to make sugars or to make organic compounds. Okay, and sugars are organic compounds. Okay, so it's the same. It's an organic compound is something that contains carbon, right? So we'll be making some sugars here, which are going to store energy, but it's also going to be a source of organic compounds, and they're going to be using something called carbon dioxide. Now, carbon dioxide, I'll let you know right now. Carbon dioxide is an inorganic molecule. Okay. Something else about photosynthesis, it occurs in the chloroplast. And this is a nice little picture here. It shows you, it's a little cartoon, it's a little funny, but it kind of gives you a good brief story about what photosynthesis is, right? It's going to be using sunlight. This is the sun, okay? And this chloroplast, which is inside of a plant cell, is going to be like a sugar fairy because it's going to be using the sunlight to make some sugar, to make some glucose, okay? And this happens in the organelle called the chloroplast. Okay, and this organelle is in plants or photosynthetic organisms. Now let's look into the formula, and this is, think of the formula as the ingredients and the products, right? If you want to make a dish, well, you need to be able to get the ingredients to make the final dish, right? So what goes into photosynthesis? And you have to even memorize this formula, okay? You have to even memorize it. Memorize this formula. Okay, so what do we need in order to start a reaction? We need reactants, right? And we end up with products. So I'm going to start with this. I'm going to say carbon dioxide is going to be an R for reactant, water, another reactant, and light energy as another reactant. So I'm going to put here R for reactant. Okay. What are our reactants in photosynthesis? Well, you need carbon dioxide. Okay, you need 6 molecules of carbon dioxide. Remember, carbon dioxide is going to be our carbon source. We're going to be bringing some of these carbon dioxides and we'll be making something out of it. Okay, we'll see in a second. Another reactant, another part of the ingredients is water. We need water. Water is going to be very important because it's going to become something called a electron donor. And we'll see that in a little bit. And then finally, where does the energy come from? Right? We're saying in photosynthesis, we need to make some sugars, some molecules with some energy. But where does it come from? It actually comes from the light energy of the sun. I'm going to put here sun. Okay? So we need carbon dioxide, water, and light energy. And make sure you know that. Make sure you're actually able to identify a formula and know what the reactants are and what are the products in photosynthesis. You need 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, okay? And you need water. And you need energy, light energy. Now, what are going to be the products? Well, Let me do this in a different color. Products are going to be this one and this one. Okay, and I'm going to put P for products. What are the products of photosynthesis? Glucose, which is chemical energy. Okay, and an organic molecule. Okay, and another, I don't know if this is really a product, but it's going to be more of a byproduct, oxygen gas, and this is the gas that you breathe in. Okay, simple as that. Now, one more thing I want to say about this formula is something that is going to come obvious a little bit. I said, and I stressed, I stressed that we need 6 molecules of carbon dioxide. Okay, a carbon dioxide molecule here, as you can see, contains 1 carbon, right? And if you actually go to the other side to the products, you see that our glucose here, our glucose is going to have 1 molecule of glucose is going to have 6 carbons. Okay, so the reason why you need to have 6 carbon dioxides is because you need to have these carbons, 6 of them, okay, in order to make 1 molecule of glucose, and 1 molecule of glucose is going to have exactly 6 carbons. So where do these carbons come from? They come from the carbon dioxide. So you need 6. If glucose is going to be a 6 carbon molecule, I'll put here 6. That's a 6 carbon. C for carbon. Okay, you need the 6 coming from the carbon dioxide, and it's going to become a little more obvious using this other equation. Now, this other equation is the same thing, very similar. It's just showing you here where do the atoms move? Because remember, in chemical reactions, we never lose any atoms, right? We never lose any elements. Matter is never created or destroyed, right? And I told you that a lot of these chemical reactions are pretty much like dancing partners, right? They're going to be changing partners, okay? It's about the breaking of bonds and the making of new bonds, but we never lose any kind of atoms. So this is a really nice picture or figure showing you where the atoms end up, right? If these are our reactants, our 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, the carbons, as you can see, are going to fall here, okay? They're going to be part of the glucose. Okay, the oxygens from the carbon dioxide, they're going to end up in the glucose, and they're going to end up in the water. A little bit of water is also produced, okay, during photosynthesis. What about the water? There was a little color, a different color. What about the water? Well, the atoms of the water, okay, the hydrogens, so you can see they're going to end up in the glucose. They're going to end up in the water, okay, and the oxygen atoms from the water molecule here, they're going to end up, okay, being used. Those oxygens are going to end up used to make oxygen, okay, the gas there that is produced by plants, okay, and that you breathe in. And one more thing I want to show you about this slide is going to be the last picture over here. Okay, we talked about cellular respiration being a bunch of redox reactions, right? Redox reaction, reduction, oxidation reactions. So in this case, in photosynthesis, we are going to be reducing carbon dioxide into glucose, right? And reducing means we're going to be donating electrons, right? So electrons, for example, glucose is going to receive a lot of electrons, hydrogen atoms, etc. And water is going to be oxidized, okay? Going to be oxidized into oxygen, okay? So water is going to be donating electrons, it's going to give up electrons, okay? I hope that makes sense, ladies and gents.